Well, it's here. I've waited 49 years to have a really decent reproduction of the mechanical shark from Jaws. Thanks to David Stann, one hell of an artist. My wish has come true. I'm trying to figure out how to open this without. I'm just extremely nervous. It's like when I went to Bob Burns' house and saw King Kong for the first time. And the other things he had. Except the difference is, this one's mine. Wow, that's the interior of the shark with the pistons and things that made it work. David's been cool enough to pack it very carefully. I'm going to move that out of the way. I don't want to mess that up. There's bubble wrap everywhere. Let's do this. Let's just do this. I'm too nervous to open the bags on camera. Let me look at the instructions. Look at that. Look at that. There's the pieces. He lists the pieces. I love this. A guy that he makes his own models, 3D prints or whatever, and produces them. And he does the instructions like to me a model kit or something. You know, like parts. You know, here's the pieces. Sorry, I'm rather emotional about this. I'll tell a little story here that's true before I even open it. Forgive the jabbering. I'm kind of glad I'm off camera because you wait for something for nearly 50 years, and what it means to you is deep. When I saw Jaws in 1975, I was 14 years old. A little town of Waycross, Georgia. They didn't have much. They just had the theater. It was a little duplex. No stereo. That was before the age of stereo. And the movie came a week or so after it had been released. And I was first in line. I sat in the front row center and proceeded to have one of the greatest movie experiences I've ever had. It remains my favorite movie. Nothing has touched it. And it means a lot to me that after nearly 50 years, it's not only still great, but it has gained popularity over time. People see what I saw in it, and I found that there is a huge Jaws community out there. The people like Shark City Ozark, those folks that make sharks for people, that have sold them to actors and production people. That's a sign that this stuff is still big. The movie still sells out on the summers. Georgia Theater Company. Sorry, look at this. God, that's how you build it. I just can't get over the accuracy of the parts. Anyway, I'm getting off my theme. The first sharks I made were made of wax. I got some of my mom's sealing wax for old jars. She would jar jelly and stuff, and I got that wax. And I sculpted sharks. Well, that didn't hold up because your hand warmth would melt them. So I started making them out of wood and tissue paper with model glue, like a sort of a paper mache, old school Tester's model glue. Yeah, I should have gotten high. I may have. I may not know the difference. I made several sharks in my day. There's only one or two left that I even still have, and they're packed up. One, a good friend of mine, Matia, who I went to LA in 2006 and met, has been a big proponent of saving the junkyard shark, which of course now has been saved and is in a museum in LA. All that is now past tense, and I'm glad I met West. He was a great guy, and still is, as far as I know. West, shout out to you. Oh God, this is cool. But when I made my sharks back in the day, a long, long time ago, those old paper sharks, and I was a kid, I went to the Waycross Library, and back then you could look up, they had an LA phone book, and you could look up Universal Studios, and it actually had special effects department, which I called. And I was trying to reach Robert Manny. I wanted to reach Robert Manny. He was my hero in 1975, 76, in that era. I got his phone number, or what I thought, it was Raymond Manny, his son's phone number. I called and got his daughter, talked to her a few minutes. She was probably tickled by this 14-year-old kid that wanted to speak to her father-in-law, whom she bragged about. I remember that. And I finally called the number in California, and Robert Manny answered the phone. And I talked to him for 30 minutes about the shark, about how he made it, what he did. It was one of the most important, significant phone calls of my life. I was stunned I reached the man. He was so nice on the phone. He told me about the giant crocodiles he did for the Tarzan movies, the giant squid, 20,000 Leagues, so many things. Herbie the Love Bug, things he did for Disney. But we talked about the shark. We talked about all that. And I got his address, and I sent him one of my little paper wood sharks. So Robert Manny got a shark from me, just like I got one from him. Only thing that's mine from him was sort of in my mind. Today, I have a facsimile of that I can be satisfied with. Thanks to David Stann of Stannarts. I do recommend you go and see his work. I will be unbagging this. There will probably be a second video, and I will show those parts and talk about the model directly, and I won't tell my old stories of being a kid and calling Universal. But that happened. It's the truth. I swear by it. I actually called him twice. I harassed the old guy twice, and we talked technical things the second time, and it was really fun. And he got my shark, and it meant a lot to him, and it was awesome. So I have that in my history. So if you've been able to bear through this story, hang with me. We will be looking at the parts to this model in the next video. And in some time in the future, of course, the finished painted piece. Until then, have a great day. Like, subscribe, whine, complain. Tell you don't want to hear my stories anymore. But let me tell you something. When you've got one like that, it's kind of hard to keep to yourself. I'm glad I was able to share it. So let's open this bad boy and see what's up. Grail #1 for my life to be opened and looked into. Take care, everyone. Bye.